Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are well. I hope you had a fabulous Christmas and I hope your new year is going to start off great. So I'm posting this on New Year's Eve. I was going to post it earlier so it has time to kind of like basically be put out and for people to watch. However, I've been so busy with so much stuff, honestly I've not had a chance to even like sit still for a second. So I do apologise for not posting earlier. However, I am back today on New Year's Eve. I will post it today. However, if you're seeing it in the new year, this could be a look for either way. It doesn't really matter. I don't always go full out when it comes to New Year's makeup. You can do whatever you like. I'm going to start with my base today, which is going to be something weird for me. And I'm going to do minimal makeup, but it's going to still look a bit like dewy and fresh. I feel like for 2025 going on to 2026, I want to have a nice dewy kind of base makeup with, we're going to use eyeshadow, but we're going to use like minimal, we're going to use nice colours, maybe like pinks or maybe like nudes or something like that to kind of give it, we're still going to look presentable and nice, but I don't want to wear a full-on glam, I feel like, for me personally. But you can change it however you like. So anyway, let's get to it. So grab yourself a snack, or if you're just watching, if you're actually following along and you would like to try this yourself, you can still grab yourself a snack like I always do. I always make myself a tea or something when I'm doing my makeup. And we will start off with my primer. I don't usually use primer, but I want a tiny bit, because obviously it's got to last most of the day. Usually when I don't use primer, it still lasts for me because my skin reacts differently. I don't usually use primers, but I'm going to use this Multitasker Breathable Primer. This is from Rimmel. This is the only one I own because I don't use primers hardly. I'm just going to put a little pea-size amount on my finger area. I do have a bit of dry skin at the moment because of the weather. The weather's getting so cold. So make sure that you are getting wrapped up when you go outside. Make sure that you are staying nice and hot, because it is freezing out there. Like, my skin is so chapped, my lips are chapped, it's horrible. Right, so I'm just going to put it on my T-zone mainly, because that's where all my kind of like, just going to put a little bit. I don't want to overclog my skin. My skin is having more breakouts than usual at the moment, because I did post a video before Christmas came around about my skin condition. It is going to be linked if you guys like to watch it. However, it's a reason why I break out so much. I can use today. So like I said, this is the ones that I've reviewed for you or I have purchased myself. So Maybelline, this is the 30-hour wear. I still recommend this if you want full coverage. The smell's not too bad either, but today we're not using this because I don't want to have a full coverage today. I don't want my face to feel too, I want it to feel natural, like I'm not wearing makeup today, because I want to look fresh, but not overly done. So then we've got the Lasting Finish and we've got the L'Oreal Infallible. So it's either these two. So I feel like I might go with the L'Oreal one really, because that one has been my newest favourite. I'm just kind of thinking what I want. I think I might go with the L'Oreal Infallible, because that one at the moment is the lightest weight one that I do own. It does obviously, it is a 32-hour wear, fresh wear. This one gives your skin a dewy look, a dewy finish. So the L'Oreal Infallible today and my foundation brush. I have recently washed all my brushes. They're all fresh. I do actually have a pack of 50 coming from Amazon, I think either tomorrow or the next day. So I'm going to be excited to show you all my new brushes because I need them badly. So my foundation brush, I always use this for my foundation. I'm going to use this and my foundation. I'm just going to put some on the brush, if it's going to come out the actual thing. There we go. I usually start with small amounts first, and I'm just going to put it on the skin. Like I said, I want this to be some coverage, but I don't want it to be overly. So I'm going to kind of space it out between all areas of my face because I just want a light layer today. I'm just going to start stippling that on the skin. As you see, I'm just kind of moving it across the skin. making sure to cover up any blemishes, but I'm not going to go full in. I'm going to use the lightest layer that I literally can use, because today I don't want that overly, you know, full coverage look. So we're going to still use our method to push it in the skin, move it around. I don't mind some skin showing through, because ultimately I don't mind the way that my skin looks anyway naturally, because you can't really help it all the time. But for you guys, you may want to use a more full coverage, and that's fine. My chin is a problem area that I'm kind of like dealing with at the moment. So, and my nose area is quite red, so I want to cover them up the most. That's also a little trick as well, because obviously you can use a beauty blender as well, but like if you have blemishes and you really want to cover them, obviously the product you use is going to be the most important. But if you use a beauty blender or a brush, you just have to basically stipple it into the skin rather than brush it on, and that will add that coverage. Because if you're like kind of like, say if you're brushing, it's going to move the product a lot and it's not going to stick where you need it to. So like if you see here, I've got blemishes on my skin. We're just going to push it, and as you see, it's getting kind of more subtle. Like it might not disappear, but it's definitely going to help with that coverage. And as you can see, it's just kind of like toned it down a lot more. So if you stipple it into the skin, you'll notice that your blemishes will be covered, but your makeup won't move as much. Now I've always been a beauty blender kind of person, but recently I've been trying this brush and other brushes, and to be honest with you, I found it better when it comes to getting that coverage on your skin. And even on the nose area for me is problematic, because it literally... Now on the forehead, I do sometimes brush it over, because as you can see, I don't have too many blemishes up on my forehead, so I generally just push it into the skin. Just make sure as well that you're pushing it into your hairline just a little bit, so that you can blend in the lines. And as you see already, I do have a lot of texture, but we are just having an overall coverage. This is dewy, but it's also lightweight. At the moment, I don't feel like I'm wearing makeup, and that's what I really love about wearing makeup. I love creating looks, but I also love to experiment with different kind of makeup, so that you can get this kind of natural, because I don't wear makeup every day. I'm going to use my eraser one, my concealer, but I'm only going to put it in places that I need it. And usually I do it in a T-zone. However, today I just want to do it over blemishes. This won't make your skin look patchy because it's lighter, don't worry. I'm just going to put a little bit on some of these blemishes that I do have. I also have some blemishes from when I usually shave my face, because it can be quite annoying. So I just want to put a little bit on all the blemishes that you see here. I may even just put a little bit where I usually put concealer here, because I like to have that kind of lighter, and a bit of my nose as well, because my nose is very red. A little bit on my forehead, just in these places. But as you can see, it's not tons, it's just a little bit. Usually I go in T-zone, but today I want to spot conceal. The only reason I choose a concealer that's lighter than my face is because I want a bit of more highlight. But you can buy two types of concealer if you want to. One to highlight your face, and one to that's basically like your foundation colour, that can kind of conceal more. I'm just going to stipple this in the skin. It won't get rid of the blemishes totally, but it's going to make it look much better than what it did before. And it's just an extra coverage to add to your skin when it comes to the blemishes. Now with this kind of like area under your eye, all I'm going to do is take the same brush and I'm going to stipple it into the skin. Now when we pull it away, make sure you pull the concealer up a bit into your temple area, and as you can see, it kind of lifts it and makes it look a bit more smooth. So yeah, I have some ideas for 2026. Obviously, I started this channel basically. This channel was actually started like a while back, but it wasn't for makeup. So I had this channel for a while, and yeah, so I have definitely some things that I want to do for this channel moving forward. I want this channel to grow over the next year. So yeah, let me know what content you like to see. But yeah, I'm going to do some hair stuff as well coming new year. There's going to be lots of different ideas that I have brainstormed about this channel. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm just still stippling it in the skin. So, you know, you don't have to do it as kind of like intense as I'm doing it. But I like to make sure that it's pressed in and to all the areas that need it. I do have a scar on my chin. I do usually cover it, but it still does show through because it's literally a scar. But you can use, like I said before though, you can use whatever foundation you wanted to. You know, if you wanted to have a full-on look for New Year's, you can use the, you know, other, you know, Maybelline ones. You can use your own kind of full coverage ones, because it makes your face look totally different and it looks so cool. So Barry M Chisel Cheeks is my most natural one that I do own. There's plenty of them out there that I will be kind of showing you guys over the new year. However, there's tons of them. This one is in the shade medium, so it comes in a pack. I think it's still available to purchase at the moment. Cruelty free and vegan, and also it lasts 18 months. This is Barry M, by the way, and it's 0.17 ounces, so 5 grams. You get 2 sticks. You get, where's the other one? Here we go. So you get 2 sticks in each pack. They come like this. This is the medium shade pack. You can get a darker one. I think you can get a lighter one. I never go for light because I like that more bronzy look. And I don't go for dark because obviously my skin would look a bit muddy, because if you go too dark, it's not going to go against your skin tone. So I recommend, if you're wanting something like this, to go with the medium one, unless you want it to look more natural, and you'll go for the lighter one. It is buildable as well, but I usually only add a little bit at a time. Like you see, it's quite dark, the medium one, but I like it. I'm going to put it on the kind of top point of my cheeks, because I want to lift my face up. Put a little bit on my forehead, like so, down my nose, and on the tip, which looks crazy. A little bit on the jaw. I do have a double chin, but I don't mind some of it poking through, but we're going to get rid of some of it. And then the top of my other cheek. I'm also going to put a little bit on each side like so, just to kind of bring my eyes even more up. And I'm going to blend this out with my other Real Techniques brush, which I've had for many years actually. This is just like a, is this a powder brush or foundation brush? It's similar to what I use for the foundation, but it's more fluffier. I'm just going to blend this out. So for the contour, I recommend, if you're wanting it to last longer and look a bit more evenly spread out, I would recommend stippling it into your skin like I'm doing. So just pressing it. You can kind of blend it up now and again, but also when you stipple it, it kind of puts it into the skin a bit more. I'm not the best at like explaining like techniques, but I can show you. Just gonna pull that kind of like skin just a little bit, and just kind of like stipple that into your hairline like so. And as you see already, it's starting to give you an overall kind of like more healthy glow. It's not anything crazy, so you could literally leave it like this. I don't usually add too much more because I add so much bronzer anyway. But as you see, putting it in the area that I'm putting it, you can see the difference in colour, and it kind of pulls it upwards. So if you want that kind of more snatched look or you're basically maybe your face to be lifted, you just need to put it in the areas that I've shown you. It just pulls it upwards, and then if you want to, you can just add highlighter, or you can even just add blush or something, and it will pull the face up even more. With the kind of jawline, I just kind of like do the same thing, but I also put it down just slightly because I don't want to have just one area that's kind of like shadowed. You got to think of it like, you know, drawing or colouring or painting. You're always going to put the shadows in, and it, you know, so you can see the difference, and it kind of makes it a bit more realistic, but it kind of pulls everything in, and that shadow is now creating a more snatched look. Obviously my face is not going to be like, you know, ultra snatched because I do have a double chin. However, with my forehead, I literally brush it over because I don't mind having it kind of spread, but I still kind of just push it in a little bit. Make sure you get it in your hairline just a little bit. You don't have to go right into your hair, but make sure you kind of push it in a little bit so that you basically have a flawless kind of finish. As you can see, my hair still looks great, and also you can't see much makeup in my hair. It literally just blends into my hairline though, so it looks a bit more natural. Now with the chin, I'm just going to start swirling it around. I do bring it down a bit because obviously today I'm wearing quite a low top. I don't want my face to be ultra bronzed and my chest to be pale. So on this occasion that I'm wearing a low top, I will kind of bring it down quite a bit to my choker, but also I will lift it up just slightly so I can bring it down on this area, like so. But when I do my powder and when I do my contour, like my actual powder contour, I will blend it into my chest as well so that my chest looks a bit more bronzy. So let me know down below if you guys have any sort of plans for New Year's Eve or day, or if you have any, do you have any resolutions for this year? Do you have any plans to kick off 2026? Do you have any exciting ventures this year? Me personally, I have no New Year's resolutions because I always never stick to them. I feel like life always goes different ways, so I never ever make, you know, New Year's resolutions anymore, because I feel like life just takes its own journey, and then I end up not living any of the resolutions that I set. Usually my usual ones is lose weight, eat healthier, yeah, but this year I kind of don't want to set any. You know, realistically, I'd like to work on this channel more and, you know, my career. Also, I do have plans to go on my own little weight loss journey, which I already previously started, and just take it till next Christmas and see how I do. But I don't think it's worth just setting resolutions, because sometimes it feels a bit like pressure. You've got to live it up, you know, you've got to live to that expectation. So we'll see what happens in 2026. But one thing's for sure, I would like to build this channel up with you guys because I do enjoy making these looks. I need to work on a good kind of like consistency kind of timeline to post videos, because at the moment, towards the end of the year, it's been a bit harder, but we'll get there. So as you can see, we're blending it out. It looks so much better. I look a bit more awake. So for my eyebrows, I'm going to use my pomade from Revolution. I am going to look at different products to try next year because I've only got one product for my brows sachet. My new brush that I bought previously in Primark, this was before my birthday in November. It has a spoolie and it has a pointed end to put your eyebrow makeup on. However, this one's quite flimsy. I don't use this. I just use this end. So I'm just going to blend this out on my brows quickly. I always shave the end of my brows off. That's why you can't see nothing here, because I like to do it myself. And so I'm going to use my mange brush. This is the one that has the eyebrow brush at the end. It's a bit more kind of stiff to work with. And then you have, I think it's an eyeshadow brush at the end. But I never hardly use that. So I'm going to dip into my pot. This is very much used, as you can see. And I'm just going to make sure and swirl the brush in there. And then dab the excess off at the very ends. So I'm just going to start with the arch. And just fill it in as much as I can do. So my brows, I like to follow the natural arch of my brow. However, like I said, I don't actually, I kind of leave the end so I can fill it in how I want. My eyebrows always end up. And it doesn't matter if you mess up because your base makeup is still kind of like, it's drying, but it's like still kind of moist, so you can add concealer when you need it. There we go. I will add concealer because I like it to be more crisp. But we have got a good eyebrow today. This might be a good eyebrow day for me today. I hate when you have bad eyebrow days where like you put the makeup on and it just goes too big or it just goes everywhere. As you can see underneath, I do have some hairs that haven't been plucked, but it's not really going to be noticeable in the makeup. Because I do actually pluck and do my eyebrows quite often, I do have patches that have like no hair. So it will look lighter, but there's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. It's going to be like an ombre look, I feel like. So this one looks a bit more rounded. This is a bit more kind of like squared off. I never go beyond the point of the front of my eyebrow because I don't like it to be blocked. So I stop like here, which is about a quarter that I leave open so that I have room to kind of maneuver with the product. So I'm going to take the spoolie and I'm just going to brush side by side and then up and then back down. It just blends it in like so. I will use a concealer now, but I might probably go into it a bit more because I like to spend some time with my eyebrows like this. Will be good. Or any rounded flat brush, anything like that. I'm going to use a concealer that I use today, which is the eraser one, because I want it to look as natural as possible. I'm going to dip it into the eraser thing without kind of squeezing it out. And all I'm going to do is follow the brow. I'm not going to put too much, but enough to correct it. So start at the very, very end of your brow. Take it round. Take your time with this as well. This is why I said leave your makeup kind of moist still. And just correct it just a little bit. So as you can see, it also adds a bit of a highlight effect as well. And if you want to do the top, which I usually do anyway, is you just take it slowly but steady and just bring it down and kind of snatch it in a bit. You can wipe the excess on your hands or a little kind of cloth. But yeah, that's literally all you do. Keep going until you're satisfied, and then I'll show you what I use to kind of set them. I don't like my tail to be too long, so I stop it kind of at the diagonal of my end of my eye, so it looks a bit more natural. And then repeat it with this one. This one's a bit more patchy because, like I said, I shaved quite a bit off certain areas, so it is going to be a bit patchy, but we're going to work with it today. I find that this one's a bit easier to clean up for me. I don't know why. I think it's because it's easier to kind of pull your hand round, because my hand's the dominant one on my right, so I feel like it's easier. Don't worry if you get too much kind of makeup on your eyelid, because you can just pat it in, you know, and you won't even know it's there. Perfect. Now I'm going to do the top area. I usually skip this bit on videos for you guys because obviously it takes some time. But there's only so much you can show about eyebrows, I feel like. Everyone has their own way to do their eyebrows. They're definitely not twins today. They're definitely sisters, but they're totally different. They look similar, but still a bit different. I think I'm overall okay with that, because there's nothing else I can do to it. I don't want to add too much in case I ruin it. What I am going to just do though is I'm going to take a cotton pad, which I previously used to dab off one of my makeup brushes, and I'm just going to brush the front of it a little bit, like so, just to get rid of that that kind of blockiness. And then lastly, before I go into my eyebrow setting stuff, I'm going to go back into the pomade and go back into this eyebrow over here, because like I said, it's patchy. As long as it looks okay, I'm good with that. Yeah, that's going to have to do. So Revolution setting, I think it's, what's it called? Revolution Brow Gel. This brow gel is in translucent, but obviously it is coloured a little bit because I use the product on my eyebrow. It kind of colours it a brownish colour, but it still does the trick. So you get a tiny little spoolie, which is what I love, and I'm just going to brush it through. As you can see, it starts to get a bit wet, but I'm just going to brush it through all of my hairs, and this will set your eyebrows in place for the whole day, like so. And then the other one, like so. Perfect. Usually I don't do this, but this is going to be different today. So translucent setting powder from Fit Me Maybelline. This is in the number 090. This is the only one I use because I don't like to add colour on my face. I think it adds more coverage for people, and it can look good, but however, I've never liked it on my skin. I like to have translucent, so it looks basically non-existent really. So I've got a fresh clean powder puff. I'm going to put the product on here, and I'm just going to go and set certain areas of my face. Like I say, I want it to be dewy, but I need to still set my face, because otherwise it will move, because my skin gets oily quite quickly. So I'm going to take the powder puff sideways, and I'm just going to push it into that area to add that highlighted look. Like so. I'm going to leave it there because it can set it a little bit for me while I do the other side of my face, and also my chin. Chin is a problematic area for me, so I like to put quite a bit on this area and also slightly below it as well. Just make sure to press it in, like so. Upper lip, I also like to join it in like this on this side. I always leave this bit out. I'm also going to snatch this in just a little bit like so. And then the same on this side. My nose also will be touched because my nose gets oily as well. If you have dry skin, you might want to go limited amount of powder. So you might only put like, it looks dry at the moment, but I will add setting spray. And in this corner like so. A little bit on my forehead because I don't really need that too much. Only the T-zone area. As you can see, we are literally set, like, we've set everywhere apart from where our bronzer goes mainly. It does look a bit drying, but I do have setting spray. Okay, so bronzers, my usual ones to go to. We have Natural Bronzer by Rimmel in the shade 002. And then the MUA Makeup Academy Sunkissed Bronzer. It's literally just so called Sunkissed. I'm going to start with the Rimmel one first. my powder brush. Sorry if I sound a bit out of breath, I just had a drink. I was so thirsty. So as you can see, product on here, tap it off. I'm going to use this all over my face, literally all over, just to give me that whole bronzy look. You might want to leave certain areas out if you want to have that kind of snatch look. So I'm just going to leave certain areas that need it. Make sure to really get into that pan. You can also, a trick to do as well is dab it in here. If you have too much product on here, you can literally just wipe it on the back of your hand, then put it on your face. What I am going to do, because I want my face to match my chest a little bit, I'm just going to take some and kind of blend it downwards. As I said, you don't have to do this. If you're not wearing a low cut top, you don't have to do this, but I just want to add a little bit. So just to blend it downwards a bit. I'm not trying to change the colour of my skin, but I want it to be a bit more blended out, so it doesn't look too different in colour. A bit more over here. Obviously later, when you, like, if you take a shower, you can wash it off. It's not going to stay on here permanently. It's absolutely fine. And then we move on to the Sunkissed one. This one is the perfect, I recommend this for anyone who wants a drugstore bronzer that is very pigmented, but also a very nice kind of like suntanned look. This is very pigmented, like this is why it lasts me so long, because you just literally have to tap it in a few times and it's so literally pigmented. You've got to be careful how much you use, because if you use too much at once, it's going to be harder to get rid of. See, look, just one little swipe, you've added that kind of like bronzy look. It looks so good. Also, you can actually pull it into the end of the eye as well. It kind of brings it all in together. Right, nose area, I just use this big brush to go over my nose briefly, just to get that kind of colour in there. Chin area, Perfect. We're looking so bronzy and glowy. So before I add my setting spray, I'm going to do my blush, and then I will move on to my eyeshadow, which will be very brief, and I think I'm only going to use like 2 colours, and then we will literally set the face and finish this off. So for blush today, I'm going to use my dark rose colour, which I previously brought. This is called Exposed, and it is a number 006. It looks like this from Rimmel. This is a nice dark rosy sort of pink. I don't like blushes that are too bright, so I'm going to use the same brush, because I'm always an advocate for using brushes multiple times if it's suitable. And then I'm just going to go and stipple this blush into my skin. I like to put it here between my nose and underneath my eye, because when you blush normally you see it kind of push out to the skin. It just brings a little bit of like colour. It's not even like, it's nothing harsh, it's just a little bit of colour added to the skin to kind of bring it together. I'm going to add a little bit on my forehead and my chin, and then on my nose, because blush also gets on your nose quite a bit, because when you're blushing it gets everywhere. but it just brings, like, it's so subtle, but I don't like that really kind of blushy look. If you wanted to, you could go in with another blush, which I will show you what. I only own 2 at the moment because I don't use it that often. So the other one that I have is it Borgeous or Boris? I can't say it. Paris 1863. This is really nice, by the way. Also, it has a smell of like a vintage smell. It smells like rosy vintage. It's really good. Number 34, Rose d'Or or Dior. I can't speak French for the life of me, but this is more kind of shiny pink. This one's not really too pigmented, but you can see it a bit more than this one on my face. So I usually take a little brush, and as you can see, you've got a little pink colour on the end. And I'm just going to dust it over the areas that I need. So it's very subtle. It just adds that kind of like rose tint to the skin. It's like still glowy as well. I don't like to use too much, but because it's New Year's, I'm going to add just a little bit on my face. Like so. Okay, so for eyeshadow today, I'm going to use 2 simple colours, which is going to be very, very subtle. I don't want to go in with a full look today. So I feel like I want to go in with a nice pinky sort of toned. I feel like I want to use this Revolution palette that I brought the other day, so Forever Flawless, because look, it's got all them kind of pinky, like purple, nude tones that I really love here, but it's not. It's like a sort of pink rose kind of tone. It looks totally different on camera, which is crazy, but it is kind of like a rosy toned. I don't know if you can't see it on there. It looks really nude, but it's not. So it's basically like a rose pink colour. You'll see on my eyes anyway. I'm just going to pop it. As you can see, it's kind of like rosy, but it's more like nude. I'm going to put this on my lid. I'm going to put it all over because it's a nice colour to kind of put on your lid. Put it everywhere because we are not doing any cut creases today. There's going to be no sort of like, you know, bright looks. I'm going to also put it into my eye area because it kind of accentuates it, but also it also brings your nose in even more slimmer if you're liking that kind of look. So I'm going to make sure this colour is all over. But as you can see, this eyeshadow is so pretty. Like so. And then the next eye. See, it's like a rosy, dusty colour. I love it. I do have a palette to show you guys that I brought from B&M. So if you're not from the UK, B&M is basically a store where you can buy a whole range of different stuff. As in gifts, toys, homeware, cleaning stuff. All sorts basically, and I brought a palette from there, and it was only £6, but I'm going to try it probably in the new year to create some looks with. So as you can see, we've got a nice dusty rose colour. I just want to add one more colour into the inner corner just to bring it out even more. I feel like with this one I want to go in with the one called, is it Suave? Which is a darker, it's like a darker sort of rose pinky sort of like, it's got touches of brown in it as well. This one here called Suave. I'm going to use the same brush actually. The good thing about Revolution palettes as well, if you're wanting eyeshadow palettes that don't have too much fallout, Revolution is really good. It still has a bit of fallout, so if you're using like really kind of dramatic eyeshadows, or you know, if you're trying to do your eyeshadow before you put your base on, I would recommend that you make sure you tap off any excess. And also you can actually buy stuff that you can actually put under your eye, or you can put something that maybe will catch the fallout. So this one is darker. I'm just going to put it in the inner corner. Like so. I only want this in the inner corner. I don't want to add too much of a look today. I'm going to use 2 colours and that's going to be literally it. I might just bring it in just a little. I'm going to copy the other side so I can match it up at the same time. I like that colour's so good. Look at that colour. You can also stipple it on a bit if you would like. Just bring it in a little bit. And then we're going to go back into the colour we used before, just to blend it out with a different brush, because this brush has got this colour on now, so we're going to have to at least use one more to blend it out with, like so. I like how this is. This is like this might be quite a lot for some people, but this is more toned down for me. Okay, so I'm going to use this has no name, but it's similar to the previous one that I used. It's more of a dense one as well, so it's more compacted. But I'm going to go back into that Sweethearts one. I'm just going to blend it out on the edges just a little bit. Like so. Perfect. I actually really like this. This is so cute. I'm not even going to add the bottom like eyeshadow. I'm going to leave it like this. You can add whatever you like. You can add a bit of glitter if you want, but I'm going to leave it like this because I really like it. I like how subtle it is, but it also makes your eyes pop. It's like basically a makeup look for anyone who wants a more subtle makeup or something a bit sexy and pink. Yeah, look at that. I like it. It's definitely two-toned. If you wanted to, you can add a pop of colour. So there's one here called Flaunt, which is basically a pinky shimmer. You can also add a little bit on the lid just to kind of bring that together if you really wanted to. Like so. And I really like that. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want a dramatic eye look today. I want a very simple one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set my whole face with setting spray as I usually do every single time. And then I will come back and I will do some eyeliner and some lashes. Okay, setting spray that I use is the same one. I did buy the Infallible. Is it Infallible? Where is it? This is the only one that I have tried this year since I started my channel. The only other one that I've tried. I didn't like it. I personally, I'd recommend it in the sense that if you don't want a spray and you want a mist that doesn't really feel like it's on your skin, it does have a horrible smell for me. I couldn't take it. So for me personally, I wouldn't recommend this from what I had dealt with. However, it might work for you. You can try it. It's relatively new actually. I think it came out like back in November or October or something like that. I can't remember, but it's definitely one worth trying if you like a mist. And also, you know, everything's worth a try, isn't it really? But me personally, it doesn't work with my skin, and I also hate how it smells. However, this is one that I've used so many times. I do recommend Barry M for setting sprays if you're wanting a cheaper alternative. This one's a fixation setting spray. I use this so much. It's also got vitamin C in here as well, I think. Cruelty free and vegan, which is really good. So I'm going to spray my whole face. This is going to be a bit wet. I'm trying not to get all my little electronic things next to me because that wouldn't be very good. So, ooh, I'm going to put some more on. I like it to be quite, like, you know. Oh my god, it's cold. And then my Fresh Beauty Blender, I'm just going to push this into the skin. As you can see, it melts all them powders into your face. Your face starts to look more like wet skin. And it looks so good. Right, I'm going to leave that to dry a little bit. You can add more, you can add less, but I always like when I watch people do their makeup on YouTube, like, because I've been on YouTube for a while watching people and I loved it. However, when I watch people like and they spray so much, I'm just like, wow, that looks so much. That looks like you're literally drenched. But to be honest with you, when you put loads on, you'll see how it compares and it kind of sinks into your skin. Because if you look now, there's no cakiness. There's no dryness. My skin just looks, aside from the texture, it looks like it's basically my own skin in a way. So I always put loads on. I never ever go light with it, but you can put however much you want on. The only downside to using setting spray is it can get into your hair, which for me personally, I don't always like. However, you can wear a headband. But I prefer not to. I like to do my hair and then do my makeup. Today I'm going to go with just a bun that's on my head because I need to re-dye my hair. Which I may do on here if you guys want to see that. But I need to re-dye my hair and it's literally one day after wash. I did actually style it yesterday, but today it went quite knotty. So I was just like, you know what, brush it out, put it into a bun and then just have it slicked back. For New Year's, I'm going to line my lashes. I'm going to go with more of a wing this time because I'm not using too much makeup. So start from the outer edge and just create a line. It's not going to be a massive wing. I just want a little bit of darkness when I put my lashes on. Like so. I always go wrong at some stage. Getting your eyeliner like right is like so, like, oh my god. I went a bit thicker than usual, but it's fine. I quite like that. It's just simple. Getting your liner to be exactly the same or like thinner or that you wanted. Like I went with quite a thin inner corner and then it just went thick. So this one's better because you see how they look similar but also different at the same time. Right, I'm going to leave them to dry for a minute on, so they're a bit more thicker and longer. I'm just going to cut the ends off because my eye's quite short. I want a cat eye look, so I want to take off at least a quarter, so like so, and then you're left with the little piece here. Now this will go obviously on the outer edge like so. This is not a cat eye style, but I like to always do this with my eyelashes. Chop off at least a quarter of the inner corner, and then I like to place it just on the out, like towards the outer part, so that it kind of like is longer. Because especially if you wear like eyeliner and stuff like that, like it will look a lot longer. I think that one was, okay, that's the right eye, this is the left eye, so I need to chop this side off. If you get confused with which one's which, just make sure to take one out of the packet at a time. You usually have a left side and a right side. I think it's Eyelaw or Allure glue that I got in the previous lashes that I did last for you guys. This is a mini version, but you can buy bigger bottles if you would like. This is my favourite glue. I've always used this. Which one's which? This is my left eye, I think. Is this my left eye? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, this is my left eye. So, I'm just going to add the thinnest layer. Make sure it's all coated though, even to the ends. And if you can see this, it's quite hard to show you. Let's point you down just a little bit. So, I'm just going to put a thin layer, but make sure you go from edge to edge. Like so. And then I'm going to leave that to dry for about, I'd say 30 seconds before we put it on. While that's drying, I'm going to put some on the other eye, and then we will get to applying them. Okay, this is the second one. This is the right eye. Just making sure it's still in the shot because I'm not good at filming certain stuff. I'm very much not tech savvy here. But there we go. A thin layer, but it's enough to coat the whole lash. Put this down and let it dry for 30 seconds, and then I will come back and apply them with my fingers, because I've always put lashes on since I was like basically younger. I've always done this. It's just more comfortable for me. But you can use tweezers or you can use anything you like. So personally for me, I just grab it by the very end and place it first so it's on the actual eye, because the glue will dry, it won't stick to your like makeup. I like to pull it on the outer edge the most, so as you can see, this is why I put liner here, so it blends in a bit more better, because if you don't, you can just have a basic like a stop line where the lashes are. And I'm just going to press it in, so make sure you get it as close to the lash line as you can, even if you have to pull it down and keep tweaking it for so many times. Make sure that you are literally pushing it into your eyelashes. It might go skew with a few times, but you can just correct it like so. And then once you're happy, you can also push in as well slightly to make sure that it's pressing against your lashes. I think I'm overall happy with that for now. So the next one, I'm going to grab it and the same thing. Just put it on the actual eye first. This might take a few tries if you're not used to putting lashes on. I'm used to it, but it still kind of takes me a bit of a while to get it right. I'm using this camera that I'm showing you guys on, so it's a bit harder for me, but there we go. Just push it in, just make sure it's right against that skin. Applying this to my lashes itself, because I like to have them a bit more darker and defined. Like so. And then I'm going to take some and just go on my natural lashes and push up. Excuse my face, because my face is not going to be very attractive when I'm doing this. Make sure you get a nice layer on all them lashes that's underneath. And then what I'm going to do is grab my curling tong. You might not want to do this, but I do it every time. It's not dangerous. Just don't overly grab your lashes, but get all of the fake lashes in there. So make sure they're all in there. And then we're going to go close to the lash line. Make sure you get your lashes involved as well. So as you can see, I grab everything together. I'm just going to clamp down a few times, just gently. And I'm just going to leave it in there for a second because it's going to have to set. This is the scariest bit because sometimes it can get stuck to the eyelash curler, but sometimes it will just lift off like so. And as you can see, the difference is crazy. Your eye is open, you don't have any of your eyelashes in the way. It looks a bit more awake and open. I love it. This side, can you see? Oh my god. So I'm going to go and do that other one. So starting off first with the eyelashes themselves. You don't have to add mascara to your own, but I like to make them a bit more unique to me. So I like to add some mascara and kind of space them out a bit more. I like them to be a bit fuller as well. So make sure you get all them hairs. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to go underneath. If you do get mascara on your eyeshadow, you can just literally grab basically an earbud or a cotton swab, and just be careful. Just wait till it dry first and then remove it. If you do it while it's wet, you will smudge it on the rest of your eye. And then the same thing. It might take you a bit of time just to get the whole lash in because they're quite big. Oh my god. There we go. And then as you can see, I'm grabbing. I'm going to clamp down a few times. And then you might, if it does get stuck, you can wait there just a second. And then you pull up. So this eyelash looks now a bit more similar than this one. But it's still, I think I cut too much off this one compared to this one. I'm just going to go and clamp this one down one more time. But as you can see, I have got some mascara on my eyelid. It does happen, it's normal. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then I will just pick with a cotton swab or a Q-tip or whatever you want to use, get it off. And then you can also just grab some eyeshadow that you was using before, like some pink, and just go over it a little bit, but that's fine. Make sure it's dry though, because otherwise you'll spread it. And then one more time. See the edges on this one is a bit lower, so it doesn't always get everything in. So yeah, I like it. It definitely opens your eye. I feel like, however, they look similar now, which is good. This one's a little bit more fuller because I cut too much of this one, but it still looks good to my opinion. Not everything has to look identical and perfect because makeup isn't like that. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off. So you can even just use your hands if you're able to, just brush it off. However, I will get a cotton swab. These are some fresh new ones that I brought from Superdrugs. So just any sort of drugstore you can buy them, or even you can buy them from supermarkets as well. Supermarkets do them, like Tesco and stuff like that, or whatever supermarket you're close to. I'm going to fold it up like so. I'm going to use some setting spray. I don't want to use anything that's going to take the makeup off too much. So I'm just going to literally grab the corner and just put a little bit of setting spray on the very tip. And just push it in. It probably will wipe away a little bit, but don't worry about it. And then keep going until it disappears and you're good. And there we have it. You can even just go back into it right now and just add a bit more if you would like to. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I add a bit more because I like how the eyeshadow's looking. Like so. And that's literally all you have to do. That's literally it. Now the last thing I am going to do is add some lip gloss, which is just some random Oh My Gloss lip gloss by Rimmel. Like I said, I don't have a big lip gloss collection, but you can use whatever you like. If you want to add your own lipstick, go ahead. I'm just going to use a bit of lip gloss, just so my lips look a bit more hydrated, because they are quite chapped at the moment from the cold weather. Like so. And then if you really want to finish it off good, you can add some highlighter, which I might probably have seen before. Forever Flawless Fire Palette from Revolution. It is the one called Bonfire. So this is literally the brightest white gold shimmer. This is literally like, I can't remember the name of what I want to say, but this is very kind of like bright. I'm just going to add the little bit on my cheeks. Oh my gosh. You can even add some setting spray again if you would like to intense it even more. I'm just going to add it onto the apples of my cheek and up, like so. And then a little bit on the brow. I'm going to dust it on the forehead just a little bit. Just because when you move your head, you'll see that shimmer, which will look pretty cool. A little bit on the chin, on the kind of lip, because sometimes when you put highlighter on the lip area, it kind of extends your lips out a bit more, and it makes your lips look a bit more fuller. Don't add too much, because otherwise it might look like you've got a sweaty lip, and that's not good. Blend that in. Look at that. I would recommend using an eyeshadow for your highlight if you can't find a highlighting palette, or if you want to try different highlighters. If you are a fan of using highlighters all the time, I would recommend using different eyeshadows, because let's face it, some of these eyeshadows are very pigmented and they're very, very kind of vibrant. And then you can also take your finger and pat it in to make it look even more natural. Add setting spray if you would like to. But yeah, I think as for that, this is me totally done. You can add whatever else you like. You can add lipstick, you can add bottom lash mascara, you can add the bottom eyeshadow. However, I just wanted a simple eyeshadow for the top of my lashes. Top of my eyeshadow, sorry, not lashes. What am I on about? I can't speak today. I love this look. So I painted my nails red. And yeah, I'm literally New Year's Eve all day ready. So thank you guys for all the subscribers this year. I know I started my channel a bit later, however, thank you for the subscribers so far. Thank you for all the support that I've had on my videos, people commenting, liking. Thank you for anyone that does view my videos, because it means a lot to me. I'm excited for this year because I really want to delve into this channel even more and grow it. And kind of expand it even more. So hopefully, literally 2026 will be the year that I kind of expand my YouTube a bit more and stuff like that. So please let me know if you want to see anything coming forward. Let me know if you have any ideas. Let me know what you're doing for New Year's. I hope you guys have a lovely New Year's Eve and day. And even if you're doing something in New Year's on the first week, I hope that you have a lovely time. I won't be back now until the first week of January, so it'll probably be on that week, the first week sometime. I will post one video and it will be the start of the 2026 videos. So I won't be posting for at least 2 to 3 days at least. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely New Year's. Thank you again for all your support, and I will see you in 2026.